In this lesson, we are going to practice using model cards in App Lab. For your journal warm-up, I want you to look at this picture that has an imported model in App Lab with no changes made in the design mode. What changes could you make to this app to make it easier for people to use? Write a list of the changes to the design or to the app flow that you would recommend for this app. Go ahead and pause the video here so that you can answer this question. This is going to be something that we've talked about in the last couple of lessons, so you should be able to handle that, but if you have forgotten, then yeah. All right, so once you're done with that, let's go to lesson 10 on Code Studio level 1, and we're going to look at the example app for zoo classification. All right, so here is the app. Run it and see how it works. This app will predict a type of animal based on 4 questions. Intended use, intended uses, and limitations are listed. Okay, I didn't know it was making that noise whenever it would press the button. Okay, does it have hair? Is it aquatic? Does it have a backbone? Is it airborne? No. All right, so do you know of any aquatic animals that have hair?
It's a mammal.
Oh my gosh. It just spoke. Okay, you keep running it a couple of times. Pause the video here so you can do that, and whenever you get done, you can come on back. So there are definitely some improvements that we can make to our apps based on just that one example that we saw on level 1 in lesson 10. And we talked about other improvements at the end of the last lesson. Some improvements aren't only with the design. Even adding additional information can make an app more helpful to its users. In this lesson, we will learn more about how we can make our apps easier to use with the help of a model card. Our question for this lesson is, how can I use a model card to improve my app? You do not have an activity guide for this lesson. So what I want you to do is go ahead and go to the next level, level 2 on Code Studio, and look at the pet recommender, import model. So you're going to import this model, click the gear and select Manage AI Models. Select Pet Recommender from the list and click Import. Run the app multiple times to test out the app. Try to get all possible pet recommendations. This app isn't very well organized. It's tough to know what each feature means. Even so, take your best guesses and try different values to see the different pets you get. So it tells us right off the bat. Okay, no idea. It says TFTP, no, and then pet. So you're running the app multiple times. See if you can figure out what TFTP and no mean based on the different type of animal that it predicts. Pause the video. Oh my goodness. Okay, pause the video here so that you can go run the app. So some of the features use drop downs and others use text boxes, right? This is a drop down, this is a text box. What are you even supposed to put here? What do you think is the difference between these two types of features? I want you to put your response in a discussion board post, okay? Your key vocabulary for this lesson are categorical data and numerical data. Categorical data is data that can be separated into groups. Numerical data is data that can be counted or measured. If you remember back whenever we were talking about the different colored shapes, those descriptions, those features were categorical data. The feature relating to the number of sides the shape had, that is numerical data. So you may have noticed in this pet recommender app that the No feature has a drop down that contains the numbers 1 through 4. You may wonder why this is a drop down instead of a text input. And that's a very valid question. We are going to clear that up in one of the next levels. So we notice that this app is not very easy to understand. What do you think the features represent? How many different pets can it recommend? Put that on the discussion board also, what you think about that. There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, okay? So really just put what you think, okay? If we're going to create this app, this pet recommender app, we'll need to add more information to make it easier for the user to understand how the app is making decisions. Luckily, we have a model card that's included with our app and has this information. So let's look at the model card and see what information it can tell us about our features and label. So now you're going to go to level 3 and you're going to look at the model card. How can you tell the difference between categorical features and numerical features in the model card? That's the question. Well, let's look at the model card together. Notice the model card is a diamond shape. All right, here is our pet recommender model card. Intended uses. We have a 92% accuracy, and the data has a size of 1,000 rows, so that's pretty good. It predicts the pet based on temperature, playful, free time, and number owned. Should not be used for more matters that can be significantly impact human life. It can predict which type of pet you should purchase. Bases the decision on personal factors and on the type of environment where the pet will live. Oh! Okay, so temperature makes a lot more sense because I was thinking that it was asking about like body temperature, which was really weird. Okay, so we can look at the label, look at our options, and we can look at the features. Temperature, playful, number owned, free time. How much free time are you going to have? All right, so here's a question for you. How can you tell the difference between categorical features and numerical features in the model card? Well, categorical features have bullet points. Numerical features have a minimum and a maximum. Also, these are numbers, right? But this is a number also, but it's categorical. So technically, the sides of the shapes that we worked on, I think those would technically be categorical. I think so. So let's use the information from this model card to improve our app, especially the questions for each feature, since we had no idea what those were talking about. We'll also start improving the look and design of our app to be more user-friendly in the next few levels. So, go ahead, go to level 4, update the text of each feature using the description in the model card. So let's say you go to level 4. How do you get back to the model card? Well, besides going back to the third bubble, right? You could just go back to the third bubble, or I'm going to show you something else that you could do. You could click on the model card that's right here, okay? Temperature, T stands for temperature. So instead of having just a T as the question, put what is the temperature in your area, okay? That's just an example for that. We're on the home screen right now. You're gonna literally stay on the home screen. Okay, let's use the information. Let's use the model card to add more information to our app to better describe each label. Using the features and labels section, update each feature to ask a question. In the app, go to design mode. Update. I don't see anything. Update the type. Oh, that's why. Okay. All right, so I never actually imported my model on level 2. Okay. So go to design mode. Click on the label. And instead of a T, you're going to put the question. What is the question? Well, first in the instructions, it tells you what to do. Update the text of each feature. For example, replace T with what is the temperature in your area. If you don't remember the question, click on the model card. Update the text for the label based on the description in the model card. When you're finished, hit continue to go to the next level. What we're going to be looking at on the next level, pause the video here if you need to finish level 4.
Our daily lives are filled with decisions, big and small. Even simple choices like what to wear usually are the result of complex considerations. What's the weather going to be like? What will you be doing today? Do you feel like making an impression or keeping it casual? But the world around us is constantly changing, so we want to adapt the choices we make to match the changing conditions. What's true for humans is also true for computer programs. We don't want our programs to always run in the same way. They should respond to changing conditions. In the last video, we learned how to use Boolean expressions to establish whether something is true or false. We can now add something called a conditional statement to help guide the computer's decisions based on that information. The simplest conditional statement is an if statement. It says that if something is true, the computer should run a specific block of code. Let's say that you want to create a program that displays whether or not you are old enough to see a PG-13 movie. So the question we want the computer to evaluate is, if age is greater than or equal to 13. The question, or Boolean expression, goes next to the if. The block of code we want to run, only if the condition is true, goes inside the if statement. So in our example, whenever the expression age greater than or equal to 13 is true, the program will write to the screen that you are old enough to see a PG-13 movie.
in the app that we tested, we went to a whole new screen based on our results. But in order to have our app change screens, we need to check out the result of our prediction. And that's kind of what I showed you at the end of the last lesson video, because that was one of the challenges that you had the option of completing. And so I used an if statement. Okay, so on Code Studio, levels 5 through 10, you are going to continue working on those, and when completing those levels, you will add new screens to the app, add if statements to your app, and update the design of your app. So I'm going to show you, let's see, if you need, okay, so this is adding new screens. Level 5 is adding new screens. Now remember, I did not do everything that I was supposed to do on level 4, okay, so keep that in mind. It says a missing screen. This app has screens for 3 of the 4 pet choices, but it's missing a screen for a dog recommendation. Let's use design mode to add a new screen for the dogs. Click to expand this. Okay. It's showing you what to do. You read the instructions. You do what the instructions say to do. They're going to copy. Okay, they copied the link, the URL. See right here? They just copied that. That's smart. All right, and then bubble 6, adding new screens again. 7, adding new screens. 8 is a practice level. 9 is an assessment. And then 10 is a challenge. So I want you to pause the video here, complete 5 through 9, and then come back so we can look at the challenge. Level 10. You have these options. Okay, you can add an image to your home page, customize your app a little bit more, open a web page from your app, read the home screen out loud using the play speech block, or you can add a sound using if statements. Yes, some of these choices look familiar. They are the same levels that students could. Yes, some of these choices look familiar. They are the same choices that you were able to choose from in lesson 7. This is very intentional because it gives you a chance to learn a different piece of code than what you previously learned. So, if you have already explored each one of these, I want to encourage you to apply this knowledge to a new app. If you have not done all of these choices, choose one that you have not done so that you can learn something else, okay? Pause the video here so that you can go ahead and finish this level, and then we will wrap up our lesson. For your journal wrap-up, what is one example of how a model card can be used when making an app? And I want you to also answer how you can use a model card to improve your app. Once you get done answering all that, then that's it for lesson 10.